That is 7%. Why do you pass Kara with a higher provision? Sometimes up to 12%. That has been my question, Chair.
Yeah, it seems to be a problem that originates from the Senate. That the Senate then goes to vary what is already in regulation through adjustment of ceilings. And it's something that we need to deal with. But it has also been brought to my attention, Governor, that what we are celebrating in Homa Bay, in the form of providing autonomy to county assemblies, might not be reality. And that's Section 109E of the County Public Finance Laws Amendment. That law we are celebrating, it's still the CEC, the county treasury. Okay, it reads, the county treasury shall, at the beginning of every month, and in any event not later than the 15th day from the commencement of the month, disburse monies to the county assembly fund for the expenditure of the following month. The disbursement referred to in subsection 1 shall be done in accordance with a schedule prepared by the county treasury and submitted to the county assembly for approval together with the county appropriation bill under section 129(7). And the question was, does that still limit county assemblies? Or in the view of your CC or Chief Officer of Finance, it allows county assemblies to be more independent?
Actually, if you ask me, the county assemblies are independent. They determine, of course, within the limitations of law, constitutionalism, and other legal requirements, the rule of law. They have their budget. They decide what to use it for, pass it. We, on the part of the executive, is to facilitate the requisitions, and they get their monies into their accounts. We share the common challenge of delayed exchequer releases. We share the common challenge of slow approvals by the Office of the Controller of Budget. And those are the problems where both the county assembly and the executive require autonomy. If you can free us from the shackles of delayed approvals and delayed exchequer releases, then we will truly be a government.
Does Form C still remain?
Yes,
Chief Officer?
Yes.
Go on record. Does that amendment get rid of Form C?
The Form Cs will remain, but now it will be signed by the Assembly if that law is implemented.
I thought Form C, the final signatory is Chief Officer of Finance.
Currently, yes.
There'll be a separate Form C for the Assembly.
Yes, if that law is implemented, we'll be just transferring money for them, then they will be accessing.
Will the Assembly be able to requisition directly from Treasury?
In fact, my understanding was that the assemblies will open their own CRF accounts or whatever it is, and then Treasury sends money to the Assembly and sends money to the executive.
The requisition is still the same. It's only that once the requisition has been approved, the CEC, the Treasury now transfers a portion for the Assembly into the fund.
Yeah, that's what I understood.
So it ring fences.
The executive should not have any.
The county treasury.
Actually,
they are still right in the middle of this.
Actually, what what the bill attempted to solve is superfluous. Just deal with the exchequer releases. Deal with.
Governor, I disagree with you very strongly. In fact, that is one of the amendments that we didn't have to do if the county executives behaved. The assemblies have actually complained to us as a Senate that your Chief Officer of Finance are taking them round and round in circles. You have had these conversations.
Form Cs are very powerful form in counties.
From where I sit, and I can talk about the experience of Migori. we will always have delayed exchequer releases for 4 months. And we will have in our reserves pending bills. But when the county assembly requests for their recurrent, we give them, and we are unable to pay the pending bills. The reason is tumult in the assembly is tumult in government, and you can't allow it. It leads to some of these games people do not want, of impeachment. So we are not the problem. The real problem is National Treasury.
Are you saying Migori is 4 months behind? The expert was
I'm
saying
just
that.
giving you the experience. I'm not talking about now. You will find, we received money in June. We received money in the last 3 weeks. We received 3 exchequer releases. But the assemblies were up to date. Where were we getting money from? Holding monies from suppliers, which is not good practice. Why do we hold money? We don't have the money. So if you give us exchequer releases, you can't hold assemblies money for a day. Or if you are familiar with their mood, if you are familiar with their anger, you can't hold their money. So when they complain that the county treasury is delaying them, it is just because the county treasury does not have the money. And they know it. They have to be very mean to the speaker, mean to everybody. But we take the beating because we are there. So if you
Governor, let's not focus on the mood and the temperament of the assembly. We passed a law that we were celebrating and saying, finally, we have solved this problem. You've used the word superfluous. To the chief of the, maybe let me just hear it from the technical people, because if Form C still exists, then what have we solved? Many people are of the impression that Senator Sifuna has, that we have allowed the county assemblies to generate their own version of Form C to directly requisition.
Yes, I think what the Chief of Staff said is that the county assemblies signed their own Form C. The only problem is there is only one treasury in the county. And I'm imagining if the money hits the CRF account in the county, then the assembly also is duly informed that the money has hit the county assembly, and then the onus is on the chief officer to release that money to the assembly, which was different before, because then the CCO could refuse to sign the Form C and delay it.
Help us understand so that we have the right message to our brothers in the county assembly.
Thank you, Chair. For you to release the money to any account, you have to sign Form C for the controller of budget to give authority to the exchequer release. So if the law still requires to be the people releasing money to the assembly, then we'll still go through the process of COB, which Form C is still a mandatory for them to approve that money to be released.
But who signs Form C now?
In that case, since we are the people requesting money to be released, we are the executive will still sign the Form C.
Treasury, isn't it? The county
yes.
treasury.
Yes.
So the process will still be the way it has been.
It can only be cured if the law was saying from the exchequer, the money is released to the assembly direct. Then that will separate the assembly from the executive.
So the only progressive thing is that we have set up a fund.
Yes.
Where now you are obligated to transfer the money to.
Exactly.
Of course, the obligation was there because really, if the assembly has made a requisition, there was no reason for you to hold it. But we have just made, put further emphasis for that money to be put in a fund.
Yes, you have just made it kind of mandatory.
Yes.
Yes.
But the challenge, now I'm telling you what the challenge is. Assuming we are in October, and the last money we received was for July. That's the last money we received. We have August, we have September, and now we are in October. The monies we have in our reserves is, of course, monthly, and we pay our salaries, as we can wait for our salaries. But the assembly will request for their salaries, and from what we have, it will always be available. So when it is not available because our CRF at that time is reading 0, they will have the impression that there is frustration from our treasury. And that's where trouble starts. So the real thing is to unlock the taps. If you can get legislation to ensure that what happens at the national level is in pari passu to what happens at the county level, then devolution will be protected. And if the Office of the Controller of Budget has an obligation to respond within a specific time, what we call a service charter, because at times it may delay, the anxieties are uko kwa ground. Those are some of the challenges. That is where the main thing is. You cannot hold the county assembly's money. It is very difficult, and because of the autonomy they have, and we respect that autonomy, you just release monies. But you continue suffering, or your suppliers suffer.
So clerks, please note that we must have a conversation with CAF on the implication of the amendments that were passed into law recently, so that we can have the right appreciation. But also remember that Form C does not appear in any law. It is a procedure. So procedure can be, and I don't think it appears in any regulation.
Just a follow-up on what
It's
the
a
governor
procedural
said,
thing. Yeah.
because I thought it might be a bit revealing. You have indicated that there are times where we have requisition for money for the assembly, but the exchequer has not released that money to the CRF account, but some money exists there for contractors, and so you pick that money and pay, transfer to the assembly, money meant for suppliers. I'm wondering, is that one of the reasons why, if the year ends and this money now for the assembly has not come, then you void the payments? Is that one of the reasons why we void payments and increase on the pending bills?
That does not necessarily lead to that. What it leads is delayed pending bills. Or every exchequer release has money which is recurrent, and money also for development. So you will find that because we prioritize recurrent, which is salaries and others, you will find that there may be development projects that are mature for payment. But because of the sensitivity of the releases to the assembly and also releases to our staff, we continue pushing them back, kicking the can down the road until you have enough money. You first sort out the issues relating to salaries. If they delay, you will have many issues. So the real solution, that is what gives counties autonomy, and also gives, by extension, the county assemblies autonomy. The misunderstanding they have had with our treasuries is that they think the delay is deliberate or willful.
Okay.
Chair,
So
maybe just for clarity.
Yes, Senator Chiragi.
So does it mean, and that law was signed in your county, in the state lodge, and I didn't see you in the picture. Maybe I missed you. You can share with me via WhatsApp, so that I heard you mentioning when you were addressing the delegates at the Devolution Conference, and you hailed as one of the significant moments in the Homa Bay history. Although you didn't treat us very well, but that is a story for another day. We expected to deepen and widen devolution in Homa Bay. So, the Governor, your assertion is that despite the signing of the Financial Autonomy of Amendment of the PMF Act, the fact that you have indicated requisitions are still made, so it will also determined by your CCM finance to allocate or approve the. I agree with you that you can't prevent them from getting their resources because of their nature, but the interpretation of that law that was ascended by the president through, and I know CCM finance is here, is that it will still need the approval of CCM finance to get their money in their account as the county assembly of Migori, because after assentment of that law, and I had the chair of CAF, Kamanza, Speaker of Kwale, saying that now they will have what we call financial autonomy. And maybe that question is double-edged, because do we have the treasury here? Chair, was there treasury?
National Treasury?
Yeah.
National Treasury, yeah.
Yeah, they can say something. Yeah, Madam, we are here. I don't know whether Treasury has started that law. No, let me leave the governor I think he has better things to handle than what I'm asking. Can we go to the National Treasury? What is the interpretation of this law? Because outside there, the MCS are celebrating and they were painting the town red and saying, you know, now we have financial autonomy. We shall do oversight 101 without fear. I don't know why they normally say that without fear. I thought oversight is a constitutional obligation. So what is the interpretation of that assent or signing of that law by the president from Treasury where you sit?
Chair, I may not have much clarity on the law, but what I know is that when money gets to the county, the chief officer, the executive, they're the ones supposed to transfer the money to the counties, because the accounting officer of the county assembly is the speaker. So when it gets to that place, is the one who is supposed to do it.
Is that correct?
The clerk, not the speaker, sorry, the clerk. And they are supposed to forward the money to that place. But I'm sure if COMB would talk, they would say that that money comes, you know, you can't request, everybody can't request. There must be one to request from the National Treasury.
The interpretation of the law was that the person who should make requisition via COB should be the county clerk.
Control of budget is here.
Controller of budget?
Thank you, Chair. In as much as I won't have facts about the amendments, what I know is the counties operate a CRF account, that is a county revenue fund, where all the proceeds that are due to county are deposited there.
Still the county through the CCM
Exactly.
would
exactly.
make requisition.
Exactly.
As COB chair, this one will be the last one. As a COB, and have you studied the new amendment and internalized as part of your rules?
I won't want to comment on that because
Chair,
I don't have the
maybe
facts.
we can engage Mary Nyakango when she appears. Is she called Mary Nyakango?
Margaret.
Oh, Margaret Nyakango.
Yeah.
Maybe I've met some Marys in Homa Bay. That is confusing me. But I think Margaret Nyakango. So I think Margaret Nyakango, when she appears, we can ask her further questions. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. No, we again, Malcolm, from a legal perspective, please look at that law. First, give us some advice internally, and then we can have CAF, we can have the control of budget, so that we understand and find out whether we did the right thing or the most effective thing for our county assemblies. Governor, brief one.
If autonomy, in the context in which it was sought, and I want to actually say that it's a good piece of legislation, is about having your funds. What autonomy would be there if you don't have the funds to disburse? That is why the issue of exchequer releases. You can have paper autonomy, but the actual money to disburse time in a timely fashion is what you do not have. The assemblies have justifiably thought that it is the county treasury stopping that autonomy. Unlock both, give them that right and obligate everybody, just like national government gets money in a time, everybody gets money in a time, and we are all autonomous.
No, I think, Chair, it's not just paper autonomy. It is my position that if it is the CEC and the executive requisitioning for the money, you might want to strangle the assemblies and deny them funds so that they don't do oversight. That is granted. In fact, as late as I used to be with you in this committee, in 2021, I think, Mombasa was still paying employees of the county assembly. So how are you autonomous if your money for paying, you're holding back the money for paying county assembly employees up to that late? So it is not just about autonomy. It's about who requisitions for money. Even if it delays, everybody would know funds have delayed. They are late exchequer releases. But for as long as it is the executive requisitioning the money on behalf of the assemblies, and that money is going through them, there will be no autonomy.
Okay, what could be progressive is establishment of the fund, which then Again, we said that at the end of the financial year, whatever funds that remain there are retained. They don't have to be swept back to the county revenue fund. But we'll do a legislative impact analysis, and then we'll be able to advise the county
Chair,
assemblies.
I want to leave where you have left legislative. I think it is premature, and this should not go outside there to the MCAs and county assembly, that we need the necessary officers, that the National Treasury and COB, to study this legislative amendment before a common position is adopted. Because the MCAs and the county assemblies forum and the table of clerks of county assembly believe that they now have financial autonomy and they should be having their own CRF account, which is not somehow true. So I agree with you that we need to get clarity, and I want to challenge COB as part of your take-home homes and the National Treasury to go and analyze. And I know they'll develop rules and regulations the way they do requisitions to the COB, so that we have a common position. We don't want after your meeting, Chair, that there is a wrong signal that despite what was assented to, as the governor said, is not what the MC or what is in the public domain, because it was hailed as one of the significant steps during the devolution conference. Yeah. And I know as we go for legislative assembly between the Senate and the MCS, because it was cancelled last time, this will be part of the conversation that we'll be having. So, Chair, I think we cannot take a common position. I think we do legislative analysis. Then from there, the COB and National Treasury can guide, and including Council of Governors. I yield.
Okay, thank you. So let's proceed. We need to wind up our conversation. So we are done with that issue on development expenditure. It's progressive. Auditor General, keep it in view. Let's go to pending accounts payable. Now, pending accounts payable, again, Governor, you had a pending bill of 1.76 billion. 1.76 billion. We gave certain recommendations in line with a motion that was adopted by the House. And all those many points there arose from a resolution of the House. We have analyzed your response, and I think there's one serious reservation that we have on your response, because what you have done is to annex a forwarding letter for submission of pending bills payment plan. Where is the payment plan? Because we also want to see that. Do you have that plan? Because just by annexing the forwarding letter dated 19th of August does not tell us anything.
It was submitted to COB, and COB is here. We can furnish.
Governor, definitely, if you are chairing this meeting, you'd not take that kind of story.
What I'm saying, Chair, sorry.
Because it is that payment plan that would tell us that of the 1.763 billion, we are committing to pay 500 million, 400 million, 1 billion. It is not in the file. And if it's in the file, you need to point us to it.
There is an explanation here. If you look at the...
Because I want us for purposes of efficiency. We don't have to read everything. And that's why I'm trying to be very efficient. You had a payment plan. Demonstrate to us that your payment plan addresses the 1.76 billion.
Chair, may I put it in perspective? If you look at the audit issue, which talked about 1.7 billion in pending bills, the information that I believe the auditors have this, we have paid this amount, and what is left is 400 million. In fact, we exceeded the amount as at that.
Governor, this being a house of record, where is that evidence?
Okay.
Because this was very easy to satisfy. You ought to have provided us with your payment plan, a copy, and you ought to have provided us with evidence of amounts that have been settled and what then would be pending.
In the interest of time, can we seek your indulgence and avail that what we sent to the COB, we did it inadvertently, we didn't attach it in these annexures. But,
So since you are under oath, of the 1.76 billion, how much has been settled and how much is pending?
Can you read the exact?
Of course, we'll still subject it to further scrutiny, but just for purposes of appreciating what's going on.
Thank you, Chair. The 1.7 billion, that was a pending bill for the financial year 2023-2024, of which we had settled 1.3. We had only left out, we were left out with the 400 million. Then the 400 million, that is what we have planned for to pay in this particular financial year 2025-26. So the payment plan that we have submitted, which was submitted on 15, is the 400 million that was left, plus another 400 million that is for the financial year 2024-25. So in total, as we speak today, what is pending is 800, and that is what we have planned to pay for in this particular current financial year. But the 1.7, which was for the 23-24, we had paid up to around 1.3. So the balance of 400 is what we have planned to clear in this particular financial year, plus the pending bill for the 24-25 of 400. So in total, the outstanding pending bill is 830-something, 37 million that we submitted, of which we can be able to avail the listing, maybe if we are allowed. Thank you.
Auditor, do you have visibility on that story?
Thank you, Chair. For 2024-2025, we have not done the audit. We were relying on the 2023-2024 financial period, and Annex 2 indicate the amount of 1.7 billion, which is outstanding. And that's page 69 of the financial statements. So if probably there is a progression in terms of maybe the pending bill has been paid, then the audit cycle for 24-25 will still review the status of the pending bill.
Was Annex 2B attached? Because ordinarily you'd have the entire schedule of outstanding.
Correct.
The outstanding bills.
Yeah, in the financial statement, we have Annex 2 on page 69.
There is no analysis.
At the footer, it refers to Annex 2B.
Is there analysis of these pending bills?
Did you ever see the detailed, did they ever disclose the detailed schedule?
It's like Samburu. You know, Samburu gave us the breakdown of analysis.
Yeah, Chair, I don't know how the payment plan submitted to the control of budget looks like, but I would really wish we saw it and scrutinized it to ascertain if it is in line with the first in, first out, number one. Number two, so that we make a finding if the projects have been, the ongoing projects whose certificates were raised and they were not paid, have been, the provision for payment has been made. Because here again, if we have ongoing projects, as stalled projects at times, and sometimes projects stalled because of non-payment of pending bills. So much so that we have projects that exist for many years without being completed. So we really need to look at that payment plan. And I think, Secretariat, when you're making recommendations, let's be clearer and say maybe submit the payment plan to the control of budget and maybe a copy to us and the auditor, so that we can scrutinize the payment plans. At times, those payment plans are not in line with the first in, first out, and also consideration for stalled projects or ongoing projects, so that residents of Migori can get value for money.
Chair, can I add before the governor
Yes,
comes in?
Senator Friday.
I think as a committee to the vice chair, if you look at number one, we have said management 2015 and submit to COB a payment plan, prioritizing the payment of pending bills. That was our committee recommendations. But I think also through the vice chair and the chair, is we should have insisted that they should share with us, because we have only indicated they are sharing with the COB. So maybe we can get a copy. Secondly, Governor, you know I'm saying this because you know this issue of pending bills has killed so many of our businesses and contractors. I was informed reliably that the contractors of Garissa County have moved to court to demand the payment of their pending bills. And I know it's across counties. So, Governor, my questions will be one, which is the lowest pending bill that you have not paid, and which is the oldest pending bill that you have not paid? Just give a rough figure. Number two, Chair, I'm looking at the Annex 2 analysis of pending accountables payables, and I wish we would have gotten the breakdown the way we did for Samburu, and remember we were able to flag out some inconsistencies.
I think they need to tell us where 2B is, because at the footer there you're saying that the detailed list is provided as Annex 2B. Was that ever presented? Because it's from there that we'll be able to get the answer to the question that you have asked.
Or is it part of the annexures of the governor, so that we are on the same page and interrogate? So, Chair, maybe so that as he looks for it, so that my question is complete. If you look at this analysis, construction of buildings, the payment was almost a half. Construction of civil works, there was still an outstanding balance of almost $500 million. That is 5 or 7 million. Also, supply of goods was 523, but in other like supply of services, it was a bit low of 366. So it comes to 1.7 billion. So this inconsistency would have been important to know the difference between construction of buildings, why the payment looks like the payment was done effectively and with a lot of effort, as opposed to construction of works and supply of goods, because all of them are coming to more than 500 million. That is a total of 1 billion plus. So looking at the analysis of Annex 2 on page 69 on the financial statements of the county government of Migori, it would be hard to know on the basis, and that is why I was asking the governor, which is the lowest and the oldest pending bill that is being, is it still part of pre-devolution era, or is it from 2013, 2014 financial year, so that we can make a decision? My final question is, if the Annex 2B on detailed pending bills is not here, Chair, you can direct that it should be provided, because so that we analyze and be able to know, because in this payment plan, if we had, for example, this Annex 2B, it would be very important to tally with the payment plan that has been provided by the county. And even, Governor, these supplementary budgets that you are talking about, we would want to know after the audit period, the supplementary that was done after, how much did it accumulate to payment of this 1.7 billion? So that as he comes to the final figure of 800 million as chief officer, is it Achwara or Chwara? Is it Ochwara or Chwara? Achwara. What is your first name? It is better if I refer you to a first name. John. So it would have been important that as you tell us 800 million, you should be telling us in supplementary 1 and supplementary 2 after the audit period of 3 months, 1.7 billion, this was less, so that it becomes this. And finally, Chair, I hope the chair of audit, she's now relaxed and she has taken tea. We can listen to her invaluable insights on the issues of oversight on accountable payables. I thank you, Chair.
Let me just attach one question, last one for me. There's need to disaggregate these pending bills of 1.7 billion to capital and operations, because we remember when we had Taita Taveta, Mr. Chair, Taita Taveta is supposed to pay workers 800 million in terms of statutory deductions and so on. So we also need to know if this 1.7, how much is it for capex and opex?
Now, Auditor General, did you see the Annexure 2B during the time of audit?
Yeah, sure. For us to get this, even we normally ask the schedule to support that 1.7 billion. So I'm sure at the time of the audit review, it has to be available. Because
So
we
why
normally
wasn't
confirm
it
the fee.
tabled? Why wasn't it part of what was tabled in the Senate? Because whatever was tabled came from your office. Governor, was Annex 2B attached to your financial statements?
I believe so. It was a part of what they
No. This question goes to the preparer of the financial statements. Did you attach Annex 2B to the financial statements? Yes or no?
I have to be clear.
Governor, this is a matter of professional responsibility. The person who has signed these financial statements and attached their ISPAC number is the one with the responsibility to respond to this.
Can I go on, Chair, to inform the committee?
Governor, this is direct professional responsibility.
It was signed by...
Was Annex 2B attached to the financial statements?
Can I respond more accurately by understanding the question? We are talking of the Annex 2B to the financial statement of which year? Because I'm looking
Financial year
Governor,
2022,
go to page 69 of your financial statements.
It is 2023,
It is Annex 2, Analysis of Pending Accounts Payable. At the footer, there is a note saying, detailed pending bills list is provided on a separate Annex 2B. Was that provided?
That one was provided.
I want to get this answer
That
from
one was
the...
provided.
No, Governor.
Okay.
From the person who has signed a professional code of conduct as a member of ISPAC, was Annex 2B attached and presented to the Auditor General?
Point of information, Chair, it was signed by two people. Achuara John Odoyo, Chief Officer Finance, and Eric Ochieng Chalango, Head of Accounting Services.
That's a gentleman speaking. So was that
number
provided?
Thank you, Chair. What we did, the listing, which is Annex 2B, was sent to the auditors, though we did not, when we were signing the document, it was not part of what was
So
attached.
it was not attached?
Yeah, but it was sent.
Auditor General, these are not the first financials we are seeing. All the questions we are asking, we look like we are shooting in the dark for lack of that Annex 2B. Someone has asked what's the oldest debt. If you had Annex 2B, you'll be able to see the oldest debt. Someone has asked about statutory deductions. If you had Annex 2B, you would be able to see the statutory deductions. So I don't know why you didn't find it fit to insist on this, because it has been provided in other counties. And I don't buy the argument that it is too long to be attached. If it is too long to be attached, then there is a big problem in the entity. So that's where we are starting from. We don't have full visibility on your stock of pending bills. We don't have any visibility on your payment plan. Everything here we are saying is on probabilities rather than fact. Let's hear from the Auditor General first. OIG.
Thank you, Chairman. I think where the county missed it, because on the issue of Annexure 2, that, yes, the Auditor General had raised the paragraph on, if you go to page 5 of the Auditor General's report, paragraph number 1.0, non-compliance with the public sector Accounting Standards Board reporting framework. Paragraph number 2. If you read paragraph number 2, okay, further, Annex 2 on analysis of pending accounts payable does not reflect names of suppliers of goods and services and the related dates, invoices contracted. So it was answered a different paragraph, Chairman.
And yet our friend was focusing on headings. You know, I tried to ask the question on compliance, and the Director of Accounting was saying he amended headings. But there was a much more substantive finding here that relates to what we are discussing. So I agree with you that you had raised it. So, Governor, you see where we are, that your report as tabled in the Senate did not have a detailed schedule of pending bills. And I believe that if you are the senator for Migori, you would be extremely interested in seeing the entire stock, because it is in that entire stock that you have fishy items. For example, you started the year with 754 million. 754 million. How old is it, as Senator Cherargei asked? You see, we can't tell without an aged listing or without a detailed listing. So this matter has not been addressed in any way. I wish you had given us a payment plan rather than the forwarding letter. What is your proposal, assuming you are the chair of this committee?
Let me come through. You know, the problem we get, we hardly ever have time to explain. Let me come through when we are here. Insofar as this audit report is concerned and the financial statement, it is true. My office has sent in soft copy. They didn't complain that it was long. In soft copy, the details of the pending bills, but it was not sufficient for the auditor. That is what is captured in the audit. It did not segregate the information as required. Concerning today's appearance, if you look at it, you directed that we submit it to the controller of budget. Now, when we were coming here, you had indicated the county government prepare and submit to the controller of budget. What we have done is just to bring the letter. Now, what we are able to do, the payment, the detailed payment plan is there. What we request of this committee is to allow us to submit it. There is nothing willful, there is nothing deceitful about us not bringing it here. It's just following strictly what was recommended and trying to comply with it. But we can avail it. I believe even the Controller of Budget's office has it. It's a requirement in the current budget, and even the current budget we have to.
Governor, was there a conversation between your team and the Office of the Auditor General prior to this meeting? And was it the advice of the Auditor General that it is just sufficient to attach a forwarding letter, knowing what we have done with the other entities? Dr. Was that your advice to the entity, that all they need to do is to attach a forwarding letter without the substantive documentation attached?
No, Chair, because we can't advise the client that the first thing they have to look at the issues, and we're also aligning their responses in reference to how they are responding to the issues. And again, the evidence of proving in terms of the write-ups depends on the clients. So for us, sufficient support is very key in terms of decision making. So we don't just limit.
So Governor, you're defending the indefensible. Just giving us a letter saying that we hereby forward a payment plan cannot be sufficient documentation or evidence for purposes of our proceedings. And you must direct your officers that before they come to the Senate, there must be concurrence with the Office of the Auditor General on the evidence, the threshold of evidence required here. And I think that you would have made a similar ruling 3 years ago if you are sitting here. As things stand, we do not know how old the debt in Migori is. We do not know what has been paid. We do not know whether favored contractors are the ones being paid. We do not know whether statutory deductions are still part of that stock of debt. We are shooting in the dark. And I think this is where the Public Audit Act says that an accounting officer shall demonstrate or shall implement the recommendations of the Senate or explain why they cannot implement, failure to which Parliament may. Well, can you read that? Because I think we are going towards that direction.
Chairman, give me a moment to refer to the Act.
Yes, failure to which Parliament has got the power to pronounce itself on certain administrative action. In fact, the wording including reduction of rank or, because I don't understand why for 1.7 billion, all we can walk with to Nairobi is a forwarding letter to the control of budget.
Chair, just allow me to, let me just read your recommendation. You know, I'm very fair in my thinking.
This is not, let me also guide you.
Yes.
These recommendations were sent earlier to all county governments the moment the House adopted the motion. We call it the Ledama motion. There was a motion that was debated for almost 2 weeks. And it is a motion that gave rise to these recommendations. And we just picked the recommendations out of that motion because it is a matter of pending bills. But knowing how this committee works, Governor, and you have chaired not just PAC in Senate, you have sat in PIC in the National Assembly. You cannot walk to Nairobi with a forwarding letter. You must, even if it's a copy of what was sent to COB, you must demonstrate and you must update us because really, then this meeting would have been held between you and the COB. So I just wanted us to look at the section of the Public Audit Act where we might be drawing certain recommendations in the interim before we give further directions. On implementation in the Public Audit Act. Oh, Malcolm?
Yes, Chair, this is Section 53 of the Public Audit Act. It reads as follows. The relevant accounting officer of a state organ or public entity shall, within 3 months after Parliament has considered and made recommendations on the audit report, A, take the relevant steps to implement the recommendations of Parliament on the report of the Auditor General, or B, give explanations in writing to the Parliament why the report has not been acted to. Subsection 2, failure to comply with the provisions of subsection 1, the accounting officer shall be in contempt of Parliament or the County Assembly, and upon determination by Parliament or the relevant County Assembly, Parliament or the relevant County Assembly may recommend administrative sanctions such as removal of the accounting officer, reduction in rank, among others.
That section has not been tested, or this committee has never tested that section. But we are trying to do things in accordance with the Public Audit Act this year, and that's why the procedures seem to have changed. So we shall apply our minds to that and perhaps test it. But now that there is 1.7 billion that we don't have visibility on, and the audit is going on, Auditor General, do you think if you dealt with this comprehensively in the ongoing audit, it would be much more useful than doing a separate analysis?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. You know, like now even the issue of the pending bill, now that the entities are even moving to accrual basis, as you say, the aging analysis of the pending bill, now it will be a key area for us even to check in terms of the aging analysis. And even the accrual basis now requires that this pending bill should be reported under the balance sheet as payables. So it will be a very key area even in terms of the accrual reporting now.
So they have no choice but to reconcile it.
Yes, the aging analysis is very key.
Okay, but there is reconciling it, and then there's also paying people who have done business. You have 754 million, which you can tell is 2 years old. We don't know whether it has been paid. So how are we going to get that visibility? Senator Marum.
Yeah, and also, as we are auditing auditor, if you look at recommendation number 5, it is clear that the county government should, in consultation with COB, provide a budget for completion of all existing projects, and that initiation of new projects to cease until completion of the existing. I don't know how you audit that, because then, Chair, it has been improper for governments to start new projects, yet they have not completed ongoing projects. I've seen this one in my own county. A borehole that was drilled in 2015. Up to now, it is not in use. The water has not been abstracted or distributed, and those people require water. So how can you explain that? It is important that existing projects are complete before starting new projects. As a recommendation, I don't know how you are auditing this, because the management did not respond on it.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. In terms of the project implementation, which of course even for us when we do the audit is key area or high risk area that we raise, it's advisable that probably the entity completes the project. There is no need of maybe starting a new project and when probably some of the ongoing project has not been completed. And this has an effect because you will see a roll-off of the projects, a number of them, and probably if the management could just take focus on the key specific projects, then it means there will even be sufficient budget for them to complete those projects. But if there is a scenario whereby there are so many projects which are being run, then all of a sudden you realize all the projects are either stalled or it's incomplete. Then the issue again, value for money arises because for how long will you take to complete the project? Because there is also an obligation for these projects to be completed within a timeline and at a cost. Yeah.
And Chair, in addition, variation will come into place. So I think to have a correct view is my proposal. We should see those supplementary to that was done under that year to see if 1.7 billion was really paid to, and then we see the payment plan. I think it is hard, the payment plan and the schedule, detailed schedule of the pending bills. That is why, Chair, we are crippled. We can't prosecute this question conclusively because we can't see the payment plan nor the analysis of Annex 2B that was to be provided in the financial statements of Migori County Government. So, Chair, we are at a loss on how to proceed unless you give direction on the same.
Governor, this payment plan, was it approved by the Control of Budget? Does the Control of Budget need to approve it, or the Control of Budget is just informed?
Yeah, the payment plan is a commitment. If you have monies that are allocated for pending bills, you make a commitment, honor them, and it is only those that you have committed to that you don't introduce any other thing outside that, so that it provides certainty, it provides clarity and everything. So it is part of the budget. You give the control of budget.
Okay, Senator Morgan.
Yes, I just wanted to confirm, Chair. This problem of arbitrary reallocations out of the approved budget, I don't know, Chair, whether Governor can confirm that this has now been fully addressed. It was an issue that we raised under point 4. But your response does not seem to address that that particular concern.
Governor?
You are meant to curb instances of arbitrary reallocation out of the approved budget estimates. Has that now been resolved? It was raised, it was part of our recommendations, point number 4. Your response just says you will prepare a supplementary budget, but the problem was that...
Say that it has not been our practice. Yes, the recommendation is there, and I think it is a restatement of what we should continuously observe. As a county, we do not arbitrarily relocate. We don't.
I think, Governor, provide the payment plan to the Auditor General and copy to the clerk. And if it's something that has already been circulated, that is something that can be done even by the end of this week, or even by close of business today, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Provide the payment plan. We shall look at it and then take a determination on whether we should go the route that the legal officer had proposed. But for us, our concern was to assure the citizens of the residents of Migori that of the 1.7, indeed it is true. Indeed, it is true that I think you said only 800 was pending.
From the 1.7, by the way, Chair, the reason why I'm abreast on this one, your sister committee, the Committee of Finance, came to Migori County to also look at the pending bills. If you look at the budget that we were implementing in 2024, in our supplementary budget, we increased the amount to cater for this. And the 1.7 mentioned, we paid up to 1.3. We paid, and the bank statements will vindicate us. So what remained pending in this period was 400. What is currently pending from 2024-2025 is another 400, and both pendencies or what is pending are provided for, the repayment plan are provided for in what is with the control of budget. We inadvertently literally took the directive to mean just forward, so we did not annex it.
I think that is a disclosure that I hope you had made earlier, that there's another committee that came to Migori to look into the same matter. So clerk, can we cross check with the finance committee what their findings were and if they did a much deeper analysis, so we can tie our observations with those of the finance committee? I think that would be much better than asking the same questions. But generally, Auditor General, keep this in view, do a very deep analysis as you now transition to accrual basis. So this matter still remains unresolved, and we will proceed very quickly. The next issue is fiscal responsibility principle on wage bill. We have already discussed that. Delayed confirmation in employment, OAG says that is addressed. Compliance with ethnic and special needs in the staff composition. I believe that our sister committee on cohesion is dealing with this. Have you appeared before it?
Yes, we have.
So we'll cross-reference with our sister committee on that. Violation of 1/3 rule on net pay. This is a problem arising from national government fiscal policies. Is that the cause, or there are other local causes?
The main cause is some of these non-discretionary deductions. People normally borrow, but when things become non-discretionary, you can fall below the radar or below.
Fine. So this one, Auditor General, keep it in view. Failure to customize schemes of service to suit the county executive. I can see you have said that the Public Service Board has begun working on the schemes. Again, the Auditor General has proposed that they keep it in view. Under staffing of County Attorney's Office, we have discussed. Non-compliance with AGPO. We might talk of progressive realization. This can be kept in view by the OAG as proposed. Payment to the Council of Governors.
That may be, Chair, because the violation of this provision of law is really rampant in many county governments and even CDF. Governments do not find it useful to deal with this law. Some say because maybe the youths, the disabled, the women are not able to raise funds. Maybe we can just hear from the governor what they are doing or the steps they are taking towards realization of AGPO. I know some counties like Uasin Gishu in 2018 had a very innovative way of putting some seed capital of about 50 million into a cooperative so that these groups under AGPO can borrow money and the county governments pay through that account. The SACCOs then deduct the money, their money for the on behalf of the government, and they give the groups a profit. What is your view on this? Because it has really been flouted.
The true issue here is capacity building. The true issue here is entrepreneurial ability, and it continues being a challenge. This one, so it is progressive. It's work in progress.
So we could say it's progressive, but we all know that it's been abused. You talked of, because e-procurement, if you remove the human element and go digital, would probably deliver certain outcomes more impartially. But you mentioned that e-procurement has hit a snag.
Procurement, when the delegated legislation was tabled before the county assembly, no, the National Assembly. The National Assembly torpedoed it, and the situation in which we are, there is no clarity as to what we need to do from the CS Treasury. There is no circular, there is nothing. We recently sought through COB direction, but nothing has availed itself as to what we need to do, what procurement method needs. We trained our officers, there is nothing doing.
I thought I heard the CS in his speech, what we traditionally call the budget speech, talk about it, and also listen to him quarrel accounting officers for resistance. So from where you sit as a governor and as a CEO, do you feel like we have the right instruments to compel county governments to go e-procurement right now? Instruments being the law, being systems, being people and procedures?
We create a framework that the counties can adopt by themselves, but centralization through control, through management of personnel and all these things, we are of the view that those are clawbacks to devolution. Because a time comes where the officer motioning that is an officer that is not accountable to the county unit. You input in the system is down, you want it in good time, it doesn't respond. So because of value for money and the need to do things efficiently, yes, a law can be put in place, but the control centers should be at the counties. A generic law for all counties to enforce e-procurement, but not one that is controlled by people who don't respond to the county's pace.
As we speak now, would you direct your officers to go e-procurement as prescribed by Treasury? And if not, what is it that needs to be done?
A generic legislation that can be domesticated by county assemblies, then we can be oversighted on how we are complying. But control of an entire system at a national level for the 47 counties, a system that you have no say as to when to activate it or deactivate it, stall it or enhance it, is a challenge. I think we are reaching a stage where there are certain things that, given capacities of counties, should be left to them to observe, except the regulation. If counties had all their laws relating to procurement is they have all the resources it requires, which they have, and they do it. But this process is being handled by what I would call reluctantly faceless people. You don't know which officers. It is shut down at times. You don't have it.
I think the face of the system in this committee is Madam Edith. Do you have any information on e-procurement and what needs to be done, or you can relay this information back to the office?
Chair, I can relay this information to the office, but even in the government itself, we've not started. But I'm sure we can only know that it's not working when we start, even in the counties. But I believe it shall work.
Okay, Senator
this information, I am from State House and I met CS Treasury. And actually the PS was also there. So we were just discussing how they are faring on the implementation of the e-procurement. And I'm sure Treasury, they have done theirs as a ministry. To give example to other ministries that are very slow in actually taking up the system. So one of the things actually the CS said, people are saying it's difficult to actually upload this system and all that. And which is intentionally, according to me, people are intentionally refusing to go the e-procurement. And I think it has to be enforced. And for the counties, of course, many of them will say that there is no network. Yeah? And that is what we had a challenge with, even with the IFMIS system before. And one of the things I proposed, all the counties that are not going to go e-procurement, no budget for them. That should be the only way that they can enforce. Because it's really difficult. And people are protesting. So that is my position, and we had a chat with them. But they are really pushing counties and ministries to make sure that they have gone the e-procurement. I thank you.
I saw the CS of National Treasury yesterday, before you had your show in the evening yesterday, insisting that, I don't know, and I think if I had the governor correct, that I thought the national and county governments complement, and the fact that members of National Assembly shot down that proposal last. I thought we should not bring it up to the table because the Minister of National Treasury does not have power to direct counties on this issue of e-procurement until we legislate. So I think we should leave it at there until this matter is properly legislated before National Assembly and the Senate. And then now counties can take it up at that point in time, because we have had counties that even access, and you remember even during elections that they have to be innovative in terms of provision of coverage of network. So if we are discussing about e-procurement at this point in time for counties, I think it is premature until and unless it is becoming a legislative proposal. When the CS of National Treasury yesterday spoke and say accountants and everybody's, it is his right to quarrel the national government officials because he's the minister, he can direct policy. But on counties, I don't think it would be fair to them to take it up. And you remember even when Governor Orengo of Siaya appeared on the issue of when we asked him about the markets and the industrial parks, he was arguing that they were just given a model from Nairobi, there were no variation. You find a model of constructing an industrial park somewhere in Vihiga is the same as in Mandera. Yet the climatic conditions is totally different. So I think this issue of e-procurement, we should not allow to go beyond here until we have a proper law in place. But for now, the CS for National Treasury can rant against these officers, which is his domain, but the county should be respected and left to it until we pass the legislation.
I think that would settle it. Maybe very brief one now.
Yeah, Chair. The issue of e-procurement is a novel idea for transparency, but the person who controls it, why should counties, be it Isiolo, be it Homa Bay or Migori, be held or be constrained by the pace of another officer who is not responsive? So if legislation is to be done, let us obligate counties to do their own legislation, then oversight them if they are not implementing it. But to be at the mercy of a person who does not account to you, when they block the system, they do not take the flak. When you say that there is no internet, you take the flak. That kind of arrangement is chaotic.
Okay, it's something that we'll keep an eye on, and as it unfolds, I believe we'll be seized of it at some point. We proceed. The next issue was payment to the Council of Governors. This is not a matter subject to debate. I think this one will be getting a report from the EACC.
But Chair, it would be interesting to hear from the governor, because he has been here again, I repeat, and he knows how we used to handle it. And so, what is the explanation really, Governor, Why do you continue committing
When
this
we were here,
illegality? Yes.
when we were here, our resolution was different than the resolution that we have here. But allow me to speak as the chair of legal committee.
Order, Governor. You cannot mislead this committee.
Correct.
The resolution of the House was captured in the first fiduciary risk report, which I tabled and was adopted by the House when I was the chair. So I do not think that that resolution of the House was valid. But let's hear your
Chair,
views.
before he comes on board, as the chair of legal, as he has said, there is no legal backing to this expense, both the Lake Victoria Economic Bloc and Council of Governors. And chair, to be fair, we have made a generic decision as a house. So even if we give a chance to governor to explain, it will not change the position that we have adopted as the house. So we should move to other audit queries and allow on the two issues of, and we have even council of...
Senator Cherargei, I am sure there is a reason why the Vice Chair asked that question.
No, I'm
so
not. As he speaks...
Just allow him to get his answer.
As he responds to Vice Chair, he should know that it will fall by the sword.
Yes, it will not change our position.
And but, even during council of...
unless Vice Chair, you want to withdraw. But I believe...
No, it's not withdrawing.
There's a reason why you asked that question.
Can I get home where I was going?
Yes.
Yes. I think another issue we have to agree, and maybe as he responds to the Vice Chair, is also these economic blocks, number one. And even Council of Speakers, is it CAF? And then there was SOCAT, the one for Table of Clerks. So, what I would like to add on what the Vice Chair has asked, I would want to ask from the Chair of Legal, Governor Senator Ochilo Ayako, is there any legislative proposal to anchor this COG and other economic blocks so that you can get this subscription? Thank you.
From where we sit as the Committee of Legal, the Legal Committee of the Council of Governors, we are of the respectful view that subscription to the Council of Governors is not precluded by any law. We are also of the respective view that subscription to the regional economic blocks is not precluded by any law. We say so because we believe that in the budgeting processes that we go through by the Assembly, we budget for these monies. We also remit these monies to the Council of Governors and also to these regional blocks. They are public entities as far as we are concerned and are audited. Well, there is the contention that the Council of Governors is funded by the national government, but the Council of Governors, if you look at it, it's now an extension of the activities that counties do. For instance, when we were looking at SHA and the legislation relating to SHA, all the 47 counties tasked our health committee and its secretariat to look at each and everything so that we would be able to handle this. If you look at what, and this is out of the view, the Senate may not see it or the National Assembly, how much money that is available to the Council of Governors. If we leave it to National Treasury to fund it, they will give a token, then the council is not functional, then every county will be left to his own device and mercy to do this. So our position has been that, and as a chair of that legal committee, I actually find it very difficult to give a contrary position because that is the legal position we have. And if I am to suggest, I don't know, you may not buy this, we can seek a legal advisory on this and see if we are running afoul any legislation. I am of the view that we are not offending any legislation. Kenya, and including Senate, also has associations, sporting or otherwise, with other entities, and you subscribe, and you put it in your budget, and you account for it. This is how devolution grows. So that is my respectful.
Maybe, Chair, just for a follow-up. Are you aware of the provisions of Section 37 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act?
Yes, I am.
2012?
Yes.
Which provide that the national government will cater for the Council of County Governors. This law, since 2012, has not been changed, this provision. So you said that you want some slack so that you can, some further intelligence so that you can discuss this. What has changed according to you? Because you used to be very emphatic.
Vice Chair.
Yes.
Let me dissuade you from that line, because I think you have ably demonstrated that the governor has changed his mind since he left the Senate. You have ably demonstrated it. The law as is what the auditor has cited. What we must work on is to amend the law to allow what you're talking about. In the last parliament, when I chaired the Devolution Committee, I moved amendments to the Intergovernmental Relations Act. Senator Omogeni, on, I think at committee stage, which is perfectly legitimate, in fact, that is what we must do as legislators, made further amendments to strengthen and entrench COG and to provide for various funding mechanisms. The House, we went on recess before the matter could have been concluded. So that amendment died. I think an amendment has already been introduced in this House, in this Parliament, on that matter. And I think that is what we need to fast track. Instead of wasting time going for opinions, let us just structure the law in such a way that it is so clear that anybody can read it and appreciate what it is. For now, we will not vacate from the position because this was a resolution that was adopted by the House.
I wanted to say something. Eh?
Yes, Senator Omegari.
You know, it's good to listen to the Governor of Migori when he's trying to expound on the work that COG does. And I don't think there is anybody here who is a friend of devolution who can doubt what the Council of Governors has done to defend devolution. If you read our law reports, you will see a number of cases where COG has gone to court and obtained very progressive jurisprudence in defense of devolution. We have just come from Homa Bay. That was organized by, I believe, COG. That conference was organized by COG. That conference was sponsored. We made contribution as Senate, National Assembly.
Jointly organized.
Yes. So I think we also need to be fair to COG. What we should maybe focus on is to inquire whether money that goes to COG is audited, whether it is spent for purposes that can be aligned with the devolution. But I think if we are progressively moving towards anchoring COG in the law, because we all appreciate that IGTRC is an extension of executive, they can't defend devolution really. We should, I think, be alert to the fact, Chair, that COG is there to complement the good work that devolution is meant to do for our counties.
Within the meaning of the...
And then finally, I think the Chair is telling us that there is a legal provision under which they think COG is anchored.
Can I explain a bit?
Honorable members, this is 3 million Kenya shillings out of a budget of 8 billion. I still have, this is issue number 18, and we still have up to issue number 38. I think we have more important matters to discuss in this report. We are open to that conversation with the council, and we are not saying the council is illegal. The council is not illegal. It is in law. Even CAF is not illegal. Our contention is its financing. And since we said that and accountability. So let's leave this. The EACC has told us that they are also thinking through certain practical applications. Perhaps when the EACC comes, we shall have agreed on a framework. But the ultimate thing is to adjust the law to make it fit for purpose. So for 3 million, let's not spend more than 1 minute.
Chair, there is also 2 million to LREP. You know, there is also 3 million, that is question number 18, and 2 million for
Yeah,
LREP.
because again, for
I'd ask about the economic
for the
blocks.
regional blocks,
Yes.
I've had the privilege of chairing the devolution committee. Again, we had a legislative proposal that was then sponsored by Senator Rosa Nyamunga. I know it collapsed, but I know within the devolution committee there is some legislative initiative to ensure that we provide recognition for the regional blocks.
And I think, Chair, even in your county, the report I have is that as the devolution was undergoing, they raised over 400 million. So we need to know how these activities are done by COG, and the only way, Governor, is for it to be in law so that we can say no AG. Because looking at how the function was carried, I don't think it contributed more, it consumed more than 200 million. But they raised over 400 million. So, Chair, that is... including the Senate contribution.
Members, these are things,
Yes.
these are things,
Funded, yes.
part of the solution, part of the solution is in our hands. Yeah, part of the solution is in our hands. So let's not spend more time than is necessary on this particular
In fact,
matter.
the PSC should be surcharged to return our money.
Yeah, let it be on record. It's the Speaker, it's the House that made a contribution. National Assembly and Senate.
So we
He's
have
got,
surcharged.
he's got, if you want to surcharge, you surcharge the speakers of the two houses, not PSC.
I think on the second limb, or honourable members, on the COG we had clear recommendations. On the second limb, management seeks the committee's indulgence for further discussion. I think we put it on record that the Senate is working on a proper legal framework through the to regularize this, and that applies to both COG and this issue of the regional blocks. I think let's leave it at that, and we can proceed to the other issues. Okay. On regional blocks? No. Yeah, there is. Remember, devolution committee, Senator Muma, yeah, they did a mapping of laws related to devolution that needed to be amended. So they are working on something. It was supposed to be an omnibus amendment, but I think they were advised to do separate
Why can't you advise he says he chairs the legal committee.
Yes.
I think they should have, I don't think there's anything wrong in partnership. Let them partner with MoMA.
In terms of public
Let them
participation.
partner with MoMA, look at the, the gaps in the law, and then they make a proposal. I think we would like to see COG properly anchored in law. They do a good work.
Correct.
So maybe instead of paying you a courtesy call, they should go to the committee of MoMA in tying up
they don't need
the
to
gaps.
pay me any call. But what we are doing is we are talking about the law as is, but we're also taking note of initiatives aimed at regularizing it. Let's go to 120 million on county scholarship programs. That's why I didn't want to spend too much time on the 5 million. Again, for purposes of efficiency, Governor, 120 million went to the Migori County War Development Fund for bursaries. The irregularity there is that there were no regulations and there was no scholarship policy. Now, when a fund is established, regulations must also be published to guide them withdrawals. So do we have regulations for this fund?
Oh, thank you, Chair. We have, and we, over the same matter, have appeared and are appearing again before your sister committee, Education Committee, on this.
Okay, that's fine to get that background. Are there regulations? Because what you have done here is only to annex the policy. Now, policy and regulation obviously are two different things. The two things queried by the auditor, no regulations and no scholarship policy. We haven't gotten to the intergovernmental agreements yet. So, are the regulations available? And have they been approved by the county assembly?
Yes, they have been approved by the county assembly. The policy, as we are trying to review it, to update it. It was a 2019 one approved then. In our view, the policy is, as up to now, was detailed enough to be able to guide on what was happening.
No, Governor, just specifically, our recommendation is that to urgently develop and implement regulations for efficient administration of the program. I would have expected that you'd also annex a copy of the regulations for the fund. This is very easy. If you have regulations, I think you have the power. You have the power to do so.
We have a detailed policy. We may not have had a regulation, but we're in the process of working on it.
So then
but
then it is irregular, because you can't draw from a fund without regulations, control of budget.
And even if they
control of budget, how are they drawing from the fund without regulations?
Chair, it's not a fund. It's just titled as a fund.
Migori County Ward Development Fund.
That is the title, but it's not a separate fund.
It should be.
So it is it's a line budget item.
It's a line budget item.
What do you call it? Bursary?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is what it is. We don't have a fund by that title. That
Auditor General, this was your observation? Because when you ask for regulations, you're assuming a fund has been established.
What made you think that? Yes, the wage.
Auditor General, please.
Yeah, sure. They normally have Migori County Development Fund, which they even submit financial statements. So the key thing here is about...
So there's a fund?
There's a fund.
Governor...
Migori County Fund.
Governor, have you established a fund or not?
No, we have not established a fund by that description, but the line item, that is the title, because it goes towards funding bursaries, but there is no separate and distinct fund run and going by that title.
Auditor?
So is your assertion, Governor, that there is no fund? But the auditor is saying there is a fund. You are saying it's a budget line. Governor, let me assist you. When you say it's a budget line, do you have a copy of the budget of that year under review so that we can see? If it is a budget line, then.
If we look
Governor?
at the note on transfer to other government entities, there is a ward development fund where
Yes.
120 million was transferred. Auditor, is that the one you're referring
Chair,
to?
which page?
Page 38. On the notes?
Yes, Chair.
It is there.
And you see, they also prepare financial settlement for Migori County Development Fund.
Yet there are no regulations.
And
that's what we are querying. because
This
it
is
must be
120 in notes number.
Governor, I think we need to be more precise in our and be more factual.
Yeah.
The auditor says that he has even seen financial statements prepared for that fund.
And it is 120.
So how do you have financial statements prepared, a fund established without regulations?
Chair, maybe in addition, is it Ward Development Fund and both years have been 120 million? Both years. Is this what, Chair, you are calling Vitu kwa Kalatas?
Yes. We agree with the Auditor General that there are no regulations. We shall invoke the necessary clauses of the PFM Act and regulations and pronounce ourselves on the sanctions that should apply. There's a bigger business of intergovernmental agreements when it comes to bursaries. Governor, you may want to inform us what has been the conversation. You remember the control of budget had declined to allow withdrawals for these bursaries, and there was a little bit of a stalemate. What is the current position?
And again, this also underscores the importance of the Council of Governors. The Council of Governors Education Committee engaged the Department of Education. A memorandum of understanding has been drawn that fits what the Constitution stipulates, a function that is at another level. There could be an agreement on how to deal with it. But insofar as our county of Migori is concerned, we did not offer bursaries. because of the back and forth that arose out of it. Although we have signed the memorandum, and in the current budget, we have allocated some amount that may be applied in that direction.
So, OAG, we agree with you on lack of regulations. I believe that is an offense under the Act and regulations. The PFM regulations, we'll pronounce ourselves on that. But also, when you're doing the subsequent audit, find out how they have treated this fund and how they've treated this scholarship program, and whether whatever policy they've come up with is consistent with what the law requires.
Chair, you have mentioned that there was a fund. We still maintain that there wasn't a fund in the sense that the law knows what a fund is.
But in your financial statements, there is a transfer. There's a transfer here.
On
you can see 120 million.
Number 4, transfer to
sent to a fund. Because otherwise, if it was a line budget item, we would have found it in the expenditure of the Ministry of Education or the other various departments. When it's transferred like this, it means it's ring-fenced. And that is what a fund does.
And that is why, Chair, with tremendous respect, I think the people who signed off these financial statements, we must pronounce ourselves. Because they are also misleading Governor that there is no fund, yet in their own financial statement or note number 4 transfer, that it in fact, Governor, it is on 2 financial year. You have consistently allocated 120 million. So who is misleading the other? And Governor, you know, the gospel truth of your assertions here is your own financial statements. It is on page number 38, Ward Development Fund in both subsequent years under the prior year and the year under review is 120 million.
I still indicate that the wording there, the wording fund there is a misnomer. The administration of this,
what is misnomer, Governor?
If I may complete, the administration of
what is misnomer? Some
the
of us are
fund,
not good at English. Can you? Is it a mistake? What do you mean by
my
misnomer?
very good friend, Senator Cherargei, is a very sharp advocate, and he should be able to miss the word fund. The administration of this amount of money for bursaries is domiciled in the Department of Education in an account run by the Department of Education. How it is captured here as a fund does not fit or is not in the context of how funds are established within the law. That's what we are saying here. So maybe the way forward is the auditors to look at it and the manner in which it's established and see if they are in concurrence that it's not a fund. The expenditure is there, the vote is under that department. It's just how it has been accounted for.
Okay, auditor, you'll advise us because we know the kind of games, and maybe when you sat as chair, you know the kind of games some counties play when it comes to ring-fencing things, calling them funds, and yet they're not funds. It has happened in emergency relief supplies. You have seen that in certain counties, I'm not going to mention them, that they will create funds, but then they operate in a space of purgatory. It's called a fund, but it has no regulations, so they can get away with anything. I hope this is not one of those cases. Let's ask the Auditor General to keep this in view. Honorable members, the next issue, from issue number 21 all the way to issue number 35, 36, the committee had the same recommendation. There are about 15 issues to do with projects and various issues. For example, on the first issue, you find that drainage works were not done due to inadequate funds. The second one is about variations. The third one is project was reported to be complete, but it didn't look complete. If you look at all these issues, it points to systemic weaknesses when it comes to project management and monitoring. We also talked about ensuring that there are adequate budgets for completion of projects. And thirdly, we told the OAG to keep the matters in view. And I would like to add a fourth recommendation, that the County Assembly to robustly interrogate the projects that have been identified by the Auditor General, because they are boots on the ground. It would be very difficult for us to say that the Makalda, Migori, Slaughter, Magina, Orua Primary Road, that now we start in Nairobi and confirm that the drainage works has been done. I mean, we'll be fooling the public. So since the County Assembly does not seem to have interacted with this report, we will also be passing some action to them, that on these projects on the ground, we would challenge them to verify and ensure that they are implemented and completed as per the status update provided by the entity. But we'll ask the Auditor General to also verify and report in the next audit cycle. OAG, is there any project of the 15 where the money involved was material, very, very material, and where there was a clear illegality? Because there is lawfulness and efficiency. So is there one where it was clearly established that the law was not followed and there was a flagrant violation of the law, and the amounts involved are also significant?
No, Chair. Our concern is just about the project management issue and the issue of the timelines, which probably you can see some of the projects are still incomplete. And probably some of the projects which are also complete, but that requires to be commissioned. So it borders around the project management issues.
But I think to be commissioned, it would be good for the governor to be commissioning, so that I think it's always exciting for governor to commission projects, so that as he pushes his own two-term, it will be easy.
What are we, is it Maram Road or Tarmac?
No, he's talking about projects.
Okay. But I just, can I have a minute?
But not utilized. And yes. I think I saw, Chair, before Senior Counsel comes on board, Governor, in this report, I've seen there are projects that are not utilized. It has been noted by the OAG report. Now that we are giving a summary overview or global view of the entire projects, I have seen the OAG has noted and not utilized projects. What is your position on this as Senator Okongo Mugeni comes on board? Through the chair.
Chair, I just wanted to ask Governor on the roads, Chair, because we need to move towards what the former Prime Minister of Norway called sustainable development. This query is talking about Maram roads. In the budget allocation that you get, Governor, for Migori, how many kilometers in tarmac do you do every financial year? Like in your 5-year tenure, how many roads would you have tarmacked? Because what I'm saying here is Maram roads.
I will have tarmacked 14 kilometers only for 5 years.
How do we attain sustainable development? Because, you know, if you do Maram, you will Maram this financial year and you'll do Maram the following financial year. Is that sustainable development for the people of Migori? 14 kilometers for 5 years. An allocation of how many billions? That's about 50.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair. The county of Migori has the least number of kilometers of tarmac road, both at the county level and the national level, as an obligation. To tarmac 1 kilometer of road is a cost that is known to all of us. It's a lot of money here in Kenya. We have...
How much is it?
Low volume.
It's about how much?
Maybe you have Chief of Staff of Roads or CCF?
I didn't invite them here, but it ranges upwards. I'm not so sure, but it ranges upwards of 50 million.
50 is high volume.
Is high volume. This should be 30, 35, thereabout.
Yeah, but these are the facts I want to say about the roads. In Migori, we have roads that are 9 meters and below in width, 7,461, and 9 meters and above, 5,033 kilometers. We are neighboring Kisii and Nyamira, and there are lots of rainfall. So every long and short rain, we require actually 10 billion to maram and keep them. What we can set aside for roads annually is less than $1 billion. The challenge is every member of the county assembly would like to have some road done in their region. If you try to do tarmac road in certain places, you will make certain regions appear to be marginalized, represented by angry members. So we try in the interest and out of principle of equity to just maintain and maram where we can. If we had more money, we would be able to handle it. You will also sympathize with us. Our development aspect, the vote, is fairly limited. If we just focused on doing roads, we would not manage to sustain it. But I hear you. What we have been doing lately is to embrace broad-based development, and out of it we have a significant amount of roads being tarmacked. We take credit for asking for it, and the national government takes credit for implementing it, and we all clap and cheer, and night in, night out, our people are happy, we are also happy. Thank you, Chair.
There is nothing called broad-based development, Chair, and that shouldn't be on record. You know, the way we do our development, it's known, you know it, and you are a senior lawyer, alliance trained. Our budget making process doesn't know anything about broad-based. Our national values in Article 10 is equity, to develop the entire nation, whether we are in broad-based or not broad-based. For your information, when you see roads in Homa Bay, roads are also being made in Nyamira, and I'm not sure whether we are in broad-based or we are outside broad-based.
But
so
Chair,
development is for everybody,
Chair,
Governor.
but in Nyamira, it is only Okongo Mugen who is not in broad-based. The entire piece, including the governor, is in. No, he's misleading. That's why I'm going to correct the perception he's creating.
No,
everybody is in broad-based.
To go back to the point I was making.
ODM should punish him for undermining the decision of the.
Now,
ODM.
to go back to the point I was making, which should be of concern, Chair, is that you know, when will the dream of devolution be realized? If, as Governor says here, all that our counties can do is to maram roads. Yet in the Constitution, you'll see on division of functions, roads, some roads have been allocated to counties. I think you need to give us an answer that gives future, some hope to the people of Migori that even counties can tarmac their roads. That's the only way we'll attain sustainable development. But maraming, you will do it this year, next year, another governor will come, maram, but we will not see change. I expected you to give me an answer that gives some hope that you can do better than 14 kilometers in terms of tarmac.
I want first to thank the Senate, and I also want to thank the Council of Governors for fighting and pushing for additional allocation for roads development in counties. I want to just express my disappointment at what the Court of Appeal has done by not allowing more monies for roads to come to counties. But here is what is happening. Broad-based is just a term. It's not a legal jargon, but
I think we'll allow, the same way we allowed Sangwenya to go on record, we can also allow broad-based to go on record.
Broad-based.
Glory to glory.
Broad-based is actually the other name for inclusivity. The national government has broadened its engagement with all sectors. And what Migori County has done, Migori County, in the interest of interdependence and intergovernmental relationship, We have prioritized roads. We know that the
How many kilometers is the national government doing in the entire of Migori County? Tarmac.
What I know is that in this financial year, there is allocation of upwards of 2.7 billion to start them. The kilometers, in every constituency, there is a new road that has been earmarked and budgeted for tarmacking. In all of these years of hard politics, nothing that wonderful has happened in that part of the world. I know that in a law, strict law, development is the entitlement of everybody, but every government has, or every administration has discretion. Nyamira, and your governor is our good friend, he is very broad in his approach also. And that is why some of those roads are being done.
No, actually, just for the record,
I think avoid speaking for Nyamira.
Yeah, every road
stick to Migori.
He tells me in our council of governors.
No, I just wanted to, for the record, the governor.
And chair to say broad, it does not mean much if he says he's broad.
No, okay. That
Just
doesn't matter, but let him stick to Migori.
So for the record, governor, we have tarmacs. I know, for example, in Borabu, we have 62 kilometers of tarmac. But they were not procured under the current regime. It's a work that is ongoing, it's progressive. The new regime found the work already commissioned, and I think they have done what is reasonable to continue and finalize. We don't have any new roads being contracted for, but what was already being done by the previous administration is being finalized, just like the good roads in Kisumu, which were started under the previous regime. Credit should go to the
for Migori,
to the policy of government being a going concern. Whatever you find
for Migori, a new road will start at a place called Kanyawanga, Madiaba, Dede, Odongoer, to Riri in Rapogi back to Awendo. A new road is starting at Stella, going to Gogo, all the way back to Oyani. A new road is starting at Suna East in Posta, all the way to Makalda, where we have Kipes. A new road is leaving Suna West at a place called Nambakodero to Miuru. A new road is starting at Masara to Sori. A new road is starting all the way from Taranganya to Loliondo in Kilgoris. A new road is starting in very many places at a place called Kababu, Bondonyironge, and all the way to Miuru. So all of these are, I think these engagements are good for democracy. They are not necessarily engagements that undermine democracy. When it comes to re-election, the national administration will indicate what they have done for
I think you are going into terrain that is not within the mandate of this committee. Honorable members, we bring back this conversation to what must be done here. On the projects, we have given our recommendation to keep in view the assembly to look at the grassroots issues and the county to demonstrate a proper program project management and monitoring system. And I think that if you need to benchmark, you can benchmark with Makueni. Makueni has got a very good dashboard where the governor has visibility on all the projects that are running. Is able to tell at which phase a project is. So this is something that we want the OAG to keep in view. On internal controls, risk management and governance, there were officers without job designations. The auditor says it has been addressed. And then the final issue there is lack of segregation of duties in processing of payment of salary arrears. The Auditor General says that 46 million was paid as salary arrears. However, the tabulation, verification, and payment authorizations were done by a single officer. 46 million, one person tabulates, the same person verifies, and the same person authorizes payment. What is this if this is not fraud? The county has not responded. Governor, you didn't have a response on this?
Allow me to apologize, but let me indicate that when the issues that we were asked to respond to were brought to us, it was not among them. This is in the primary audit query, which we had responded to earlier. So
and that earlier response was not satisfactory.
I think
what happened here is that our recommendation was not captured. So for this, let the Auditor General keep it in view, and if you establish that this was the fact, then this is a matter for direct referral to EACC. This is not a matter for negotiation. Honourable members, that brings us to the end of our report of from Migori County Executive. As we stated at the beginning, the report on receipt of revenue will require special focus in light of the bottom line seemingly dropping by 70 million, and we shall communicate when and where we shall have that conversation. There's also going to be another conversation on HR, even though at 38% of total revenue, perhaps you might not feature among the 10 list of shame. But in the event that you find yourself in that list of shame, then we'll have to invite you for another conversation. Our greatest exception has been on the manner in which we have dealt with pending bills. We feel that we have not gotten the right visibility, and as we directed, we had said by close of business, but it's almost close of business. By close of week, Dr. Please make sure you've got visibility on that. Let it be copied to the Senate so that we can be able to write a report on the basis of verifiable evidence. Closing remarks, if any?
I think we can donate for you to close for us.
Governor, I will donate. I will donate to my vice chair, because him and Governor Ochilo used to wield very sharp knives when they sat on this side. Governors would complain that their questions were too hard. So, Vice Chair, anything in closing?
Yeah, thank you, Governor, for finding time to come to this committee. You and I and the rest of the senators believe that Senate is there because of the need to defend devolution. And there are many instances that you can quote where the National Assembly and Treasury have tried to reduce the amount of funding coming to the counties. In 2018, we had 314 billion. 2019, they wanted to come to 310 billion. We refused. You are here at that time. In last financial year, we had in 2022 we had 385 billion. In 2023, it was supposed to come down to 380 billion. We refused as Senate and pushed it to 387 billion. So we have been here to make sure that counties get adequate funds. Now, the issue of coming here to account is not negotiable. And I'm very happy because then you've not changed much. When you're a senator, you believe that we must account, and even now you're coming. And there have been quotas within our leadership which have indicated that county assemblies should be the ones to oversight county governments. I know the way county assemblies are made. They're not well, they don't have that wherewithal to oversight governors. So I still feel as we build capacity on the assemblies, we really should come to the Senate. Examples are abound, like there are county assemblies up to now which have not looked at these audit reports and done their reports, tabled their reports and recommendations. So we feel that the Senate is the place to account and to defend devolution. Thank you so much for coming. When you come here, it's not only looking at the issues of accountability, but you also build the capacity of the officers whom you have tagged along. So keep it up. We'll continue sharpening our knives as we have done before, and talk to the rest of the members in the Council of Governors who are averse to appearing before this committee. And we want at one point, when the assemblies are well constituted and given capacity to do this audit, then you come here to only do policy issues, looking at the laws that are supposed to be changed so that it strengthen devolution. Otherwise, for me, devolution is the best thing that ever happened